For years, people have blamed video games for destroying mental health. Parents say they cause addiction. Schools say they distract students. Psychologists warn they isolate people. But what if we've been thinking about games completely wrong? What if video games aren't the problem? What if they're actually part of the solution? The mental health problem. Mental health is one of the biggest crises of our time. Rates of depression and anxiety have skyrocketed over the past 2 decades. People feel lost, disconnected, without purpose. And traditional therapy, while helpful, also has limitations. Many forms of therapy rely heavily on talking. You sit in a room, explain your problems, and receive advice on how to change your thinking. But what if instead of just talking about change, you could experience change directly? Positive psychology. This is where positive psychology comes in. Positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life meaningful and fulfilling. Instead of only studying mental illness, positive psychology studies human flourishing. Psychologist Martin Seligman proposed that lasting happiness comes from 5 elements: positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and achievement. This framework is known as PERMA, and interestingly, video games already contain many of these elements. Why games are powerful. Think about what happens when you play a good game. You feel engaged, you face challenges, you pursue goals, you develop skills, you experience achievement. Games create something psychologists call flow state, a state of deep focus where you lose track of time and feel fully immersed in what you're doing. Flow is one of the strongest predictors of happiness. But here's the key insight. Games don't just make us happy, they teach us how to overcome challenges. They train resilience, they train problem solving, they train persistence. In other words, games simulate growth. Where VR changes everything. Now imagine taking this one step further. Instead of playing a game on a screen, you are inside the experience. This is where virtual reality becomes powerful. VR can simulate environments that help people practice social situations, overcome fears, experience calming environments, build confidence, practice life skills. For example, someone with social anxiety could practice conversations in a safe virtual environment. Someone struggling with stress could visit immersive, peaceful environments. Someone struggling with purpose could explore different careers and life paths. Instead of imagining change, you practice it. Therapeutic simulations. Imagine therapy sessions that look less like talking and more like interactive simulations. A person struggling with confidence could experience a scenario where they give a speech to a supportive audience. Someone struggling with relationships could practice communication in a guided simulation. Someone feeling lost could explore different possible life paths. These experiences could be guided by therapists who help interpret and reflect on the experience. In this sense, therapy becomes something closer to training for life. A new kind of therapy. The future of therapy might not just be conversation, it might be experiential, where people don't just discuss their problems, they actively practice becoming the person they want to be. Games, simulations, and virtual environments could become tools for cultivating confidence, resilience, purpose, meaning. In other words, technology could help us design experiences that help make people flourish. For decades, people have worried that video games are making our lives worse. But the real question might be this: what if we simply haven't used them the right way yet? Games are powerful because they simulate growth, and if we design them carefully, they might not just entertain us, they might help us become better versions of ourselves.